welcome to my channel. I'm Mama Warrior, and I want to do part 2 of my series on going off grid and some good methods to use while going off a grid. This series I want to focus on heating off grid. Now, while deciding to go off grid, you should focus on your home's efficiency. Ask yourself how you can make your home more efficient. Because no matter what method you use, improving its efficiency will save you time, money, and energy. First thing you should do is check for drafts and your insulation. Insulation will maintain heat as well as limiting your heat loss. Also, remember to check your roof. This can be a main source of your heat loss. Make sure it has plenty of insulation. And as you are going through your home, check them drafts. If you have any drafts whatsoever, get those fixed prior to deciding on a heat source. Once you've made these improvements, you can begin deciding on your source. Your best option that you're going to find for heating your home off-grid would be using a wood-burning stove. Now, this is probably the most cost-effective, especially if you own your own land. The wood that you have probably laying that's already dead can probably last you a year to several years, depending on how much land that you do have. So you will never really run out of wood. Now, you want to use dark woods, ideally, such as oak or elm. These woods will burn longer and more consistent. The other thing is that a wood stove does not require electricity. And it is also a nice aesthetic as far as how it looks in your home. Now, the very few cons that it does have would be the upkeep to keep your stove clean. Obviously, they could be a fire hazard if you do not do that. Another thing to think about is you need to keep a nice area around your stove away from other items in your house. And it also requires supervision. So you couldn't leave for an extended period of time with your wood stove burning. That is just not safe. But all in all, it's probably the most cost effective. It's going to provide you with an adequate amount of heat. And there's really nothing, even the cons, in my opinion, I don't even think is too bad. The propane heaters would be number 2. These are versatile, which means you can use propane for a variety of appliances, space heaters, and different cookers. It is energy efficient and can generate a lot of energy for the amount of gas burned. And it is also considered a clean fuel. It also doesn't degrade. Now, some of the drawbacks is that it can be dangerous if handled or stored improperly, especially in large quantities. So you need to be careful. The cost can be high. As in today's world right now, if I had all propane appliances, I would be spending a lot of money. And the appliances for propane can be costly to repair. So you need to think about your repair cost. Now, if you know what you're doing with this, it might not be a bad thing. Let's see. The third one would be your solar-powered heating. Now, obviously, this is only viable if you have a lot of sunlight. If your area is known for a lot of sunlight, I would go ahead and maybe think about that. But regardless, I would say solar would be a nice backup. Maybe if you had a nice wood stove to supplement that, that would not be too bad. So again, you should not rely on your solar. Let's see here. So we have the next one would be your biomass systems. Now this is much like a compost heap. And this process involves collecting all materials that will naturally be degraded by microorganisms, such as leaves, manure, wood chips, and corn and grains. You would place this in a single location, and this will generate enough heat as it breaks down. Now, strategically placed coils of pipe will absorb the heat that is released. It can be used to heat your water or even fed into a greenhouse to maintain its temperature. Now, it certainly won't heat an entire home, but obviously it can be of use on your off-grid property. So those are the 4 main ways of providing heat on your homestead, on your off-grid home, that will not require any use of electricity. And just like with anything else, you might want to use a combination of a few of these. I hope this is helpful to you. But again, the best thing you can do in an off-grid situation is make your home efficient. Make sure there's no drafts, you have insulation. No drafts and having that insulation, you're already 50% on your way. So that will be it. Take care, and I will see you in the next part of my series.